Today I had slight trouble walking because on yesterday's trail run I seemingly have induced muscle soreness. In this, I want to briefly discuss the choice junctures that led to this suboptimal training decision, so the inputs as well as the potential negative side effects of the outcomes. It seems that muscle soreness after a workout provides, in theory, different functions. Assuming that there is an optimal zone of training volume, training intensity, as proxied, for example, by Garmin's load, then if one trains too little, it's often hard to tell. But if one trains a little bit too much, then at least if muscles were targeted in a non-just endurance way, muscle soreness seems to be the result. For this reason, muscle soreness every now and then, at least in my thinking, seems to be actually a very valuable signal. Without it, for example, I now could not retrospectively look back on the decisions that led to yesterday's overdoing in training. A second point muscle soreness provides might be a talking point. Look how hard I can work out, which probably serves some social function as well. One could also say that it all leads back to trying to show off genetic superiority. The ability to work harder compared to others might indicate higher testosterone levels, at least in males, better recoverability, etc. Now, yesterday was actually a social run, but since I knew the other person quite well, in a few months, it's a decade, I could be more open and less filtered about my wished outcomes of this social trail run. Initially, we wanted to do a 6 to 7k. As I had mentioned, this is kind of the upper limit of what my legs can do without pushing injury risk too high. But I also wanted to try trail running, so both ideas overlapped, and I suggested we do a 2-hour run in the mountains, which then the other person could not open, and suggested a even more demanding run. So I already had one up myself, suggesting a 14k already, also with elevation, because in the mountains. And he then suggested the third option of a route that I saw on Komoot, which was the longest, but also the one with the most elevation. 10 kilometers up, 10 kilometers to the peak, and 1 kilometer in elevation. But he offered to drive up the mountain a little bit, which seemed to me, and it seemed to me that in this case I could not take the easy way out. So I kind of was trapped. Either I had now to admit that I wanted the easy option, or I would again suggest one of the other trails, or I could say I would run alone. Since he also wanted to run on that day, probably we would kind of meet anyway. I could also decline last minute, which would have had negative effects on how others would judge my reliability in the future, I guess.